They race out here.
Oh, all the time.
They're in their hot rods coming down the hill.
Mert Lindy has lived in the same house along Northeast 138th for 50 years and tells me it's never been worse since the city widened the road.
Right after it was finished, they just put the mailboxes in there, 6 of them, and the guy came there and slid on the pavement and rolled up all the mailboxes.
Just a block and a half away from Mert, this happened a few weeks ago.
The side of his driveway is kind of a ramp. Caught the ramp, hit the truck, and rolled it up into the house.
Come here, come say hi.
Kevin Reed tells me he sees and hears more than he'd like to.
How are you, sweetheart?
From his front yard along 138th because of this nearby roundabout.
Just constantly braking too late, squealing tires. In the middle of the night, sometimes we'll just hear cars peeling around it, screeching. I don't like the roundabout myself.
He'd like to see stop signs replace the yield signs now used. The city's website says the roundabouts are in place to reduce overall delays, add capacity, and lower safety hazards associated with traditional intersections. The owner of this house doesn't buy it. This accident is why the city has now installed concrete blocks to help protect his home.
It's a balance of resources, and certainly the traffic hotline is one way that we can target specific areas.
A police spokesperson tells me they know about the problem and patrol when they can, but ultimately it's up to the drivers to follow the rules.
I think you'd have to blame most of it on the drivers. I don't know.
On this Memorial Day, let us continue the great tradition of expressing our heartfelt appreciation for the protectors and defenders of all we cherish and hold dear.
I think of them every day.
Just came to pay my respects for those who didn't make it back or those who passed on.
I just put some flowers on my husband's grave. He was over in England, Normandy.
It's definitely very surreal. It's very powerful. And
That spirit of patriotism and service is perhaps our greatest national treasure.
I think that every generation needs to realize what it takes to maintain freedom for this country. It takes sacrifice, it takes involvement of the people.
My father right here, Dean, he was in the Navy, World War II, got sunk 3 times, continued to go back. There isn't a day go by that I don't think of him. That's why I'm here. I come here every year.
Well, he's the first relative that I can ever remember that his death affected me. It just gives me a lot of pride to know that what he did for America.
These people give the ultimate.
And so it is that we pause to remember these heroes and to simply say to our fallen warriors, thank you. May you rest in peace and honor.
I think that looks great.
Last-minute touches were going up this morning, anticipating today's ruling. Then just after noon,
it's been 10 long years.
the news came in, effective immediately.
Good.
Couples in line for a license to marry could move forward.
We began this weekend planning a wedding, but we were afraid we'd jinx it, so now we can move forward in this.
Plaintiffs like Christine Tanner and Lisa Chickadons, who sued the state, ultimately won with today's ruling, claiming the ban on same-sex marriage violates the federal constitutional rights of gays and lesbians.
We pay our mortgage, we send our kid to school, we pay the bills, we volunteer in our communities, we love our neighbors, we love our families, we celebrate the holidays, we're patriots, we believe in our country, so we're not that different.
Hi, Jeff. Take you, Paul.
To be my husband.
Ceremonies began immediately after the ruling.
To have him to hold.
I think we just really wanted to be part of it being real. It became really important to us, kind of spur of the moment.
Champagne and roses.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Part of the scene at the Melody Ballroom, where Portland Mayor Charlie Hales.
I now declare you to be married. Congratulations, you may kiss your spouse.
Performed his first wedding ever for a couple that has been together for 33 years.
This is a historic day for our state and for our community. We all believe in basic human rights, and the right to love who you want and marry your partner is now assured in our state, as it should be.
This is a dangerous intersection, actually.
It seems it's everywhere you look.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Graffiti and vandalism taking over the Southeast Belmont neighborhood on the traffic signs, storefronts, and apartments.
Some of it adds to the character of the neighborhood, and some of it's kind of ugly. Like these tags, like just this tag stuff is kind of ugly.
Our building has been tagged many times.
A chronic problem small business owners also want to get rid of.
We're a little tiny independently owned restaurant, and they're coming after us with everything they got, and it's unfortunate. It costs us money.
Whether it's money, harm, or just unhappy residents, some have had enough. I found out the city of Portland is responsible for cleaning up the graffiti. What has the city been doing to curb this issue?
So what we do mainly is we work with the community. The program really focuses on community involvement in order to be able to address the graffiti issue.
Victor Salinas is referring to Portland's graffiti abatement program. He says the main goal is to remove graffiti as soon as possible, but priority is given to vandalism that could cause danger, like a covered sign. But first, you have to report it.
From the time that the tagging of the graffiti gets reported, it's about a week turnaround, working with either the Portland Bureau of Transportation or with one of our contractors.
But since the city is working with limited funds, it's up to the neighborhood to stop people from abusing signs.
I mean, basically, it's the broken window theory. If people just leave it, more is going to happen. So it takes people coming in and taking a few off and, kind of keeping up with it, or else it's going to end up like this.
Amid the wreckage of twisted metal and broken glass, in any salvage yard there are useful parts. The same is often true of shattered lives.
When his wheel hit the culvert, it flipped his pickup.
For each car, there was a driver and a story.
I just screamed. The hood of it was dented in.
On the night of February 12th, 2011.
I was sick. Yeah, totally sick.
19-year-old Tyson Schreiber was behind the wheel. It was dark and foggy. He was alone when his car drifted off Highway 34 between Philomath and Alsea.
Well, he was probably 10 miles from home. He was amazing at everything you did. You couldn't ask for a better person, a hard worker, honest, willing to do anything for anyone.
He was a star athlete at Alsea High School, an avid hunter and fisherman, an all-around good kid.
I always looked up to him. I always strived to be just like him. He was my best friend, a hero. My rock.
His most heroic act may have come in his final hours. Tyson registered as an organ donor the day he got his driver's license.
He had a big heart. He wanted to help everybody that he could.
The doctors had said I probably wouldn't live to 40. I'm going to be 45 on the 28th.
Tyson didn't get a second chance, but he gave Laura Eriks hers.
He's not physically here anymore, but because I carry him inside me, he's living through me.
Laura has Tyson's pancreas and kidney.
And I think about him every day.
Let's see here. I got Laura's letter out.
They encourage you to send a thank you note, but they also tell you don't expect a response.
In the months following Tyson's death, thank you notes came pouring in.
I was actually very surprised to hear from everybody.
2 people received his corneas, and so they see now.
The little boy received his heart on Valentine's Day, and he's been doing awesome ever since.
Although the Schreibers agreed to exchange letters and information with Tyson's recipients, they didn't make plans to meet any of them. The pain still too raw.
Why Tyson? It's hard.
On the year anniversary of his death,
I come all the time.
Julie and Whitney came to a place they'd come to know very well that year.
Whenever I feel like I need a visit with Tyson, I come up. He gets visited quite often. I always have to come up and make sure it looks good. Yeah. Whitney and I were standing right here.
I was fixing something, and I look up, and here comes this car, and I'm like, what the heck? Didn't expect anybody to come up here. And
we'd gone to the coast to celebrate Valentine's early. I said, can we please find where he's buried? I go, I cannot drive through this town one more time, not one more time, without finding where he is and paying my respects and thanking him.
Her and her husband walk down the road a ways, and then he says something to her. They turn around and come back,
And he goes, what do you want to do? I go, but I have to go over there and talk to them. So we approached kind of slowly, and I called out their names.
She just asked if I was Julie Schreiber, and I said yes.
I apologize. I'm really sorry. I didn't plan this. And I said, but I'm Laura Erickson.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I give her a big hug.
Some may call it an accident, others pure chance. But Julie and Laura prefer to think it was choreographed by the young man they have in common on the year anniversary of his death and the year anniversary of Laura's new life.
And I know that Tyson would be so happy looking down saying, yeah, I did that.
Was meant to happen, otherwise it wouldn't have, because there's no other way that we would have been there at the same time.
And Laura's return to visit Tyson. Julie found this note on the back of his cross months later.
Yeah, right here. My hero, thank you for the gift of life, Laura.
To know that someone else gave that to you. That totally didn't have to.
It was surreal, you know, and knowing that, you know, she's all healthy now and cared enough to come look him up. She didn't know where he was. She didn't have to drive by and look, but she wanted to.
Here in the place where Julie comes to feel her son's presence, a part of him found her again.
Yeah, pretty touching.
In Alsea,
he just loved his mom.
Sally Showman, KOIN 6 News.